I know some of you are either coming back from going to a Young Lions Cup, or you've just watched the TNA pay-per-view, and I want to bring up something that caught my attention earlier tonight, and I actually found this to be very interesting. There was an essay, an article that was written by Graham Cawthon, who runs the history of the WWE.com, which if you have not been there, it is an awesome website. I mean, you should really check it out. In this article that he wrote, he talked about how there should be a wrestling museum. Now, okay, I know that at some point in our life, no matter where you live, you've been to a museum. You know, like I've been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame. I've been to the Natural History Museum, Space Museum. You know, I've been to my fair share of museums. But the fact that there is no wrestling museum, a fixture of pop culture for so many years, and a sport. Yes, I still consider it a sport, even though, yes, the results are predetermined, but it technically is a sport. How they don't have a museum. Now, yes, we do have Hall of Fames. I mean, the one up in Amsterdam, New York, if you go to that, it is a ball. But why is there no museum? Is it because people are afraid that wrestling fans could have fun? Is it because of the fact that if you go to a wrestling museum, it's like, oh, then you must like wrestling and, you know, you're an outsider. I mean, come on. And I've always said this. With the exception of baseball and football, the best history, as far as sports goes, in my opinion, the best history is professional wrestling. Over 100+ years of wrestling history. Think about it. I mean, if you go on eBay, posters, programs, VHS, DVD, ring-worn attire. I mean, how many times have you seen some of that stuff up on the internet, mainly on eBay? I know I've seen my fair share. And instead of, you know, these being kept in a museum, preserved for history, for future generations to come to look at it, they're being sold to some guy or some, you know, to anybody who just wants to buy it, and it never comes out again. I mean, I have, you know, a couple programs right here, but I kept them in a safe place. I kept them in a nice little, you know that brown envelope where you just take the string, you open it, and boom, it's open. That's where mine are, you know. And I also have a wrestling poster. If we can preserve wrestling history, a wrestling museum is the only thing that we need. And I will post a link in the description of the article up, and then you guys can put in your opinion. But would you guys want a wrestling museum? I know I would. Because, you know, Ric Flair's robes, you know, Dusty Rhodes' boots, Hulk Hogan, you know, all this history is being lost. And as far as I'm concerned, we cannot lose history. We need to preserve history. I am in full support, Graham, 120% of a wrestling museum. And I don't care where it would be. If it was in Charlotte, I'd go to Charlotte. If it was in New York, I'd go to New York. If it was in Walla Walla, Washington, I'd go. If it was in Japan, I'd go. No matter where it was, I would go. Because I want to see wrestling history preserved for all eternity. So, you know, younger fans can go and say, I saw Ric Flair's robes hanging at a wrestling museum. So, if you guys are in favor of a wrestling museum, go ahead, post a reply. If you want to make a response video, go ahead. But I'm in full support of a wrestling museum. I think we need one, and we need one now.